Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kurt, and welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. Right, Wolfie? You are not impressed. You are impatient. You're like, why have we been sitting in this converted dungeon of long hiatusitude for so long? Woof, yes, I know. It's been like a month. A month, I say. But yes, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Far Lands or Bust. I am back. And we... Gosh, I like forgot totally what I was even doing. Why do I have bones? Why am I in this place? What is going on? This is not my beautiful house. and other such references to Talking Heads songs. But yeah, welcome back. This is episode 420 of Far Lands or Bust. 420. Everybody was expecting some sort of joke related to that, but I do not have such jokes as those, other than a very hearty is all I say. Yeah, wow. Okay, there's a lot of I have a lot of explaining to do. But before we do such things as these, we need to mark this occasion, I do believe. I doth declare such things as these with a piece of signage. Not a trapdoor, but a piece of signage. We'll probably put it up top. Boop. Do that. Let's get the dirt on the bar. Let's say farewell. Let's move on out of our hiatus dungeon of sitting in there for a monthitude. Block that off. Let's just put it up top. Oh yeah, we could like put it right here. How about it? We can adorn it with some torches, but this was, hopefully, wait, is the coast clear, Wolfie? Is the coast clear? This is the hidey hole of hiatusitude of foe of 2014. This was episode 419 through episode 420. All right. So yes, this is kind of a long-term hidey toll and hidey hole. We slept in for a long time, but I am very pleased to say, let's get Wolfie. Let's make sure. I don't think I forgot anything in there, but I guess we'll forget it. No, dang it. I gotta check again. I should probably use this thing called a shovel to dig through the dirt, but no, I didn't. I mean, there's a saddle, whoop-de-doo. I've got enough buckets and cocoa beans. We already made cookies on multiple occasions in this series. All right, Wolfie, come on out. Come back. All the way through. Gotta close the door. There we go. Anyway, like I was trying to say, I'm very happy to proclaim, let's grab Wolfie and continue on in a westward direction, now that it's practically noontime, towards the Far Lands in this, like I said, episode 420 of Far Lands or Bust. Today is Black Friday. Friday, November 28th, 2014. I hope everybody who at least celebrates, I suppose it's an American holiday, Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good regular old Thursday. But now it's Black Friday, the beginning of the holiday shopping season. So I figured, what a better time to come back than when everybody is hopefully still off school for their Thanksgiving break. Oh, there's a creeper. Hi, guy. I'm just going to carry on in this general direction and avoid you thusly. Oh, gosh, and you as well. Let's keep on going. All right. Yes, you missed me as well, I'm sure. It would seem such things as these. Oh, there's a zombie down there, too. It's a party. A Thanksgiving party, if you will. Leftovers. But yeah, we're back. I was on hiatus, for those of you who kind of missed the, the overall theme of episode 419. I said that would be the last episode of Far Lands or Bust before I went on a personal hiatus. And to be honest, the hiatus lasted a lot longer than I had hoped. So I feel quite a bit out of practice here, and I'm a little bit worried. I'm a little bit worried that after all this time, oh, Kurt's finally back, and I come back and make a video and it stinks! So I'm terrible at the video games. But hopefully not. It's been a long time. It's been like I said, a month since I've recorded any sort of video. I did have a break to come back, and I recorded the last 3 of those speedrunners episodes that you saw. I had a moment, and they were recording at the time, but that was still over a month ago, I believe, back at the middle of October or something like that. So we're back, and there were great rumors for the reasons behind my hiatus. Some people suggested maybe I finally got an actual in real life dog, Wolfie, and careful Wolfie, speaking of which, perhaps I'm not the best suited to handle the well-being of a canine friend. But some people thought, oh, maybe he got a dog and he's taking time to acclimate himself to dog ownership, and yeah, I could see taking time to do that, but I don't know about like a whole month and actually stopping making videos altogether. Some people suggested I was on vacation. That would have been one heck of a vacation, I tell you what. I'll tell you what, propane and propane accessories. Some people thought that perhaps NASA showed up at my door with their clipboard and said, Kurt, we have a spaceship that is built exactly for somebody of your stature. And we need you immediately to drop everything, and we will send you on a one-way trip to Mars. And then they turn around and see that I'm not there in the doorway anymore because I'm in their car saying, come on guys, let's go. I signed the paper already. I took the clipboard, signed it, and I'm in. I'm ready to go. A lot of you thought, oh gosh, he was joking about that before, but perhaps that's something that happened. He said he would drop everything and just say, screw you guys, I'm going to space. And that still stands. That would still be my reaction if such a thing were to happen. But unfortunately, I'm afraid that is not the reason I was gone. So I'm not broadcasting from the surface of Mars. But those of you who suggested that perhaps it was because I was moving house, picking up my things and moving house, staying on the planet Earth, but moving house, you would be correct, sirs and madams. You would be correct in that I moved. So I am afraid that there will be no more sounds of the neighbor's garage door in the background. There might be, I'm not, in moving, of course, that means I had to tear everything down on my computer, desk, my recording setup and everything, and now it's all reset up here in the new place. So it might sound weird. There might be some reverb. The walls are blank. I have nothing hung up on the walls or anything like that. It's a little bit of a different room setup, so there might be some reverb or some strange other audio issues. I hope to maybe take some time to resolve those potential issues by getting some of those, what are those things called? Acoustic panels. Oh gosh, that's Wolfie. I'm like, what the heck? This is probably a terrible idea to be up this high in a mountain. Oh, okay, haha! That was well thought out. Yeah, acoustic panels. I'm thinking of getting a couple of those and putting them like on the walls around me to make sure that there isn't much reverb to obsess even more so over the audio fidelity of my video recordings. So I might get some of those, but yeah, I apologize. First of all, if there is anything is out of whack, the knobs and the levers on my recording interface may have shifted, the microphone's weird. I'm also, gosh, I'm really crossing my fingers that this video records and then renders properly, because I'm also attempting, yesterday, Generic B, very timely information for me, uploaded a kind of a tutorial video for using DxTory. He found a different video codec to record in that should hopefully, supposedly, so the Hermit tells us, reduces the amount of rendering time, and that's a problem I had when we started recording and publishing Far Lands or Bust in 1080p. is that my rendering times doubled, and I was less and less able to keep with the schedule of getting Far Lands or Bust up before the end of the day. Oh god, that's my shovel I just dropped. Yoink! So hopefully that works, and hopefully that also means that there's no significant impact on the quality, and like I said, I hope I'm not just recording a blank screen. It would give new meaning to the words Black Friday, because it would simply be a black screen for Far Lands or Bust, and you would have to trust me that I'm simply walking in a westward direction here in Minecraft Beta 1.7.3, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff to catch up on. Quite a few things to catch up on, but let's make the first elevated hidey hole of the episode. I'll try to keep this to a standard 3-day episode. Get back on the regular schedule of events, but let's go to sleep, and in the morning we'll talk about Far Lands or Bust, our Child's Play charity fundraiser, and some of the things that we missed whilst I was away. Let's go to sleep. And awakeness. As if I needed some more sleep. I was just sleeping for a month. Sleeping for a month. You did take some damage there a little bit ago, so let's... Bloop. Let's do that. Very nice. And, whoop, that is east. This way is west. Very good. Woof. I got wood. I could use some wool. Why am I carrying these bones? I keep... Whatever. I asked that before I left, and then I left without emptying my pockets. But yeah, we're still, even in the hiatus, raising money for Child's Play charity, and I do appreciate everybody who continued donating to Child's Play charity, even in the absence of the show, the program here on YouTube. We left off, I believe, around $13,600 something or other dollars. And when I get back, and right before this episode, we are up to $14,167.97 raised for Child's Play charity. This season, Season 5 of Far Lands or Bust, a few of those donations coming in from, again, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111 is doing another single-player series where he is inflicting, is that the word? Let's go with it. Inflicting some very serious restrictions on himself. He's calling his series Space Barred, in that he can't use the spacebar. He can't jump. There are other restrictions placed upon him. He has some sort of, like a monument to collect. I think he also wants to go through all the achievements in the latest version of Minecraft. But every time he dies, much like in previous season of Exploration Tactics, he donates to Child's Play charity. And I haven't been able to keep up with his series because I have been moving and have not had some sort of internet system or even any sort of connection to keep up with a lot of my YouTube videos, unfortunately. But apparently he did succumb a few times during a climactic sequence of events. And not only himself, but others, the followers, donated to Child's Play charity through Far Lands or Bust in response to that, so I appreciate all those, and of course all the other ones who were donating, like I said, even in spite of my absence. But also, if you do go to farlandsorbust.com and do want to donate to welcome back Far Lands or Bust, and also, obviously, more importantly, to help out kids, getting toys, books, and games to kids in hospitals around the world, that's what Child's Play charity does, you will notice a slight change in the donation box. Previously, and for the first half of this season, Season 5, I had no goal. I had no goal for Child's Play charity. We were just raising money for the heck of it. And in previous seasons, we had goals based on the old F3 numbers. Season 4, I set a probably too optimistic goal of $100,000. And in the end, we had to use the help of the Mindcrack crew to push us over the edge during the first Mindcrack marathon. So we've scaled back a little bit, but I said a few months ago that I wanted to think about adding an actual donation goal to have something to work towards, and I have done such things as these, and since it is Season 5, I figured what a better goal than to have the goal be $50,000 for Season 5, And because I'm just adding this, we're not starting from scratch. We're taking the $14,167 we have already raised. So that means we're already 28% of the way there. And if timing works out right, I do like to have Flobathons scheduled around the anniversary of Far Lands or Bust. That is to say, in March. We had the last one in March, on March 1st. Did we? Yeah, we did. So hopefully we can get this at or around or during March. And like I said, even though we are walking to the Far Lands, we have been for over 3.5 years, I do not press F3 until those Flobathon events, in thanks for reaching the Child's Play charity goals. So now we actually have a goal. Now you know what needs to be done in order for us to check the F3 number. Of course, pressing F3, if you're not aware, actually shows your coordinates in the world and shows you how far we've walked. And since we're walking here in vanilla Minecraft, there's no mods, no flying, no teleporting. We have zero clue as to where we're at. We're at least 1,400,000 blocks from spawn, because that was the last March, last time we pressed F3. 1479940 was the last number. So perhaps we're past 2 million, which means we only have 10 million to go to the Far Lands. Woo! Whew. It's a daunting task, I say, daunting. But yeah, I'm very happy. I figured, we should have something special coming back here from the hiatus to say thank you now for continuing to donate, of course, but also for sticking around. I was, I figured we would, hey, good news, we have a goal, so it's your Black Friday special. $50,000 is all we have to raise for Child's Play charity before I press F3 during the next Flobathon. But what was I saying? Yeah, I'm very happy that people continue to give to Child's Play charity. I'm very happy that most of you decided to remain subscribed. I did already make a long text post on my Patreon. Not something I advertise or talk too much about, but I felt it necessary to give my patrons on Patreon a separate and earlier update, since they are funding such things as this Far Lands or Bust series, as you can notice, is commercial-free. None of those pre-roll commercials or mid-roll or post-roll commercials you're seeing a lot of here on YouTube. None of that on Far Lands or Bust, because it is supported by viewers, patrons like you. And I gave a post update to them so they know that I moved. I haven't given details. I'm not sure how many details I'm going to give. I am, as you know, still kind of a private person. I like to keep some things close to my chest. Is that the terminology? I don't know. I'm not very good with figures of speech. But it'll probably come out more in the vlogs. I still do have that vlog channel, Kurt Indeed. So from there we will go on adventures and things and whatnot, but moving is always a stressful thing. I did originally anticipate and want to still continue making videos, even quote-unquote during the hiatus, while all my stuff was torn down and in a truck. And me constantly worrying about the status of my computers and very, very delicate and expensive computing devices that actually allow me to do what I do on a daily basis. I did, however, I had multiple backups. I had an external hard drive and a thumb drive that contained the Far Lands or Bust world. So those were always within my possession, in addition to the cloud backup service that I use that backs up all my stuff. So never was it ever in any danger of us losing the Far Lands or Bust world. I take that pretty seriously. It's like the nuclear football that the president walks around with, or the aide to the president walks around with, I suppose. Everybody knows what the nuclear football is. It's basically there's I think it's an Air Force or some sort of military advisor guy who follows the President of the United States around everywhere, and he has a briefcase. I don't know if it's technically like handcuffed to himself like they do in the spy movies and things like that, but carries a briefcase with all of the nuclear launch codes and whatnot in the event something terrible and apocalyptic were to happen, and they would need those at any time, and it's codenamed the nuclear football. Nuclear. It's pronounced nuclear. But yeah, that's kind of the Far Lands of Bust world for me. So yeah, that was all safe, but it's very stressful, and I was anticipating. I was like, oh, I can use this time. Okay, maybe I'm not gonna be able to record gaming videos and upload gaming videos. Maybe I'll use this time to start uploading to the Kurt Indeed, the vlog channel. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad that I didn't try to, in addition to moving, also try to like record and document things, because moving is stressful, man. That would not have been an enjoyable time or any enjoyable videos for you guys to watch. I had probably daily panic attacks and freakouts and angry phone calls to many service people. But essentially, I moved so that I could get away from Comcast. You all know how much I love Comcast and how much I enjoyed living in an area where that was the only choice. I moved to get away from Comcast, and I was actually quite surprised. Hey, this is a tip. You probably remember it went viral on the internet a couple months ago. Somebody tried to cancel their Comcast service, and they got in a very, like, heated argument with the retention specialist. Whenever you go to cancel your service, they give you to a customer service specialist or something, but they're actually retention specialists. They're salespeople that they hire to try to convince you not to leave your Comcast subscription. And this one guy would not let this guy leave. He's like, no, he's basically arguing with him, saying, I'm not going to let you leave. You have to continue your service because my job depends on it and whatnot. I was fully expecting that, but pro tip, Far Lands or Bust tip here. If you do want to cancel your Comcast service and you don't want to get into an argument with the retention specialist, just tell them you're moving to an area that does not have Comcast service. And they'll be like, okay, we're not going to waste our time with you then. Goodbye, farewell, adieu, and screw you, is basically what they end up saying. So that's a pro tip right there for you. But let's go to sleep one more time, and we'll continue walking in the morning in Far Lands Bust. And a Far Lands Bust pro tipness. Woo! Woof, indeed. We're already continuing on here, Wolfie. I'm really low on the dirt and the cobblestone. I don't have many resources. I do have some bread. However. But yeah, we're continuing on here. What else did I want to talk about? We got the donations. We got a skeleton. Ah! Careful, running. Serpentine. Oh, he's dead. Did you leave me any residue? Here. I will leave you with the residue of your brethren that I slain in the dungeon hidey hole thingy of hiatusness. What did I call it? Hiatusitude? So there we go. We disposed of those. Talked about that. Yeah, a lot happened while we were away. And like I said, I didn't record anything about the move or anything like that, and it was for good. So we'll start up the Kurt Indeed channel as soon as I can, and I do appreciate everybody's patience. Everybody seems to be pretty cool about everything. Like, oh, take your time, oh, I know moving is a hassle, and, all the people on Patreon who replied to that post and on Twitter are like, oh, cool, it's cool to hear about that, and I sure do have a lot more stories now for future Far Lands of Bust episodes, but in addition to that, and in addition to the new Child's Play charity goal, $50,000, a lot happened since we were gone. A lot is even as far as simply space news. On October 23rd, we had a partial solar eclipse. I mentioned before. I tried to remind people in that last episode not to miss that. It was all clouded out by me. Up until a very brief moment, there was like a 15-minute window where the clouds parted just before the sun set. And because I was in the midst of moving, everything was in boxes, so I was panicking and freaking out and literally tearing apart what was left of my previous abode. to try to find my solar eclipse glasses. I have those solar eclipse glasses that I got back whence I went and saw the transit of Venus. So I was literally, I tore apart the place, totally undid all my work and packing, and found them, and was able to actually view, and I took a few pictures, and I think I posted one, very blurry, and you know, I held my solar eclipse glasses up to my camera, and wow, there it is. So very cool. Solar eclipse, little, you know, cookie bite taken out of the sun. So I hope everybody else, if you had clear skies, had a good view of that. Kind of a cool astronomical event to be watching. Earlier this month, we had the European Space Agency. The Rosetta mission has its Philae. Is that how you say it? I should have learned this by seeing it on the news all the time. The lander landed on the comet 67P Churyumov, or whatever it's called. The first landing on a cometary nucleus. Very cool stuff. That was happening at exactly the same time. There was a lot happening for me, so I was really in and out and not able to keep up with it as much as I would have hoped live. You know, you would probably, under normal circumstances, I would have been on Twitter all the time, tweeting and updating, and perhaps we would have done like a Twitch live stream, much like we did with the Curiosity landing. But the lander landed. It was very interesting. It bounced. It had a few bounces that they weren't expecting, but it did do the thing where it drills in. And however, unfortunately, because of its bounces, it apparently landed somewhere in the shadow, and that means its batteries weren't able to recharge with its solar panels. So it was able to give like 80% of the scientific data that they were looking for, was able to transmit to the Rosetta and then on, obviously, to the ESA headquarters before its batteries died. They are considering that it is possible in the spring that section of the comet where it landed might end up back in sunlight, and the lander is designed to, once, you know, it basically, when it reached like, you know, 10 or 20% of its battery, it's like, oh, safe mode, shut down. You know, conserve your energy. So it's conserving its energy. If it receives light again, it will recharge those batteries and wake back up. So there's still a possibility the lander will wake up and we can do more science. But even so, even with the 80% of the science it transmitted, it is still considered a great success from the mission specialists, the scientists, I suppose. So that's very cool stuff to be seeing. So that happened. That's some good news that happened. Unfortunately, it was also a very tough month this month for spaceflight in general. You remember I talked about the Orbital Sciences, the Antares rocket, who is taking the next Cygnus resupply ship up to the International Space Station. I mentioned there was a NASA social for it, and our oh god, careful, Wolfie. Our good friend Great Scott LP was actually selected to attended the NASA social for the Antares rocket launch. It got delayed one day because there was a sailboat in the danger zone. They basically have like a no-fly zone, but a no-boat zone for launches that was in there. So they had to scrub that launch, and it went to the next day, and Scott was one of the people who was able to stay behind. It launches from Virginia, Wallops Island, and I was watching live. I was able to, this was before I tore everything down for the move. I was watching live, and most of you probably know what happened next. There was a catastrophic failure on the launch. It was like 10-15 seconds after launch. I was watching live, and I literally froze for like a good 90 seconds with my mouth like wide open. My jaw was on the floor. I'm like, I cannot believe what I just watched live. It failed. It basically went up. I'm not sure they know specifically. I did read an article where they are looking into a failed turbo pump in one of the engines failed. That means it lost that engine and all thrust went up, kind of stopped, and fell back down, and then it both exploded on impact, but they also activated the flight abort system, which basically it pierces the fuel tanks and self-destructs basically in very dramatic fashion. very large explosion right there on the pad. And if you haven't, I would recommend checking out Great Scott LP's video of it. He had a tripod set up there from the viewing. They were like 2 miles away, which is quite close. The viewing, the press area at Kennedy Space Center in Florida is about 3 or so miles away from the launch pad, and that's where I watched the Juno launch, and where I was going to, but it got scrubbed, watch the SpaceX launch for those NASA socials, NASA tweet-ups or whatever. So they were really close and pretty scary moments because they had to get the heck out of there really quick because it's a danger thing. He was with the press. He also apparently took the same bus as actual press people did. And, you know, the press and everybody basically is like, drop your stuff. If you got a big camera there on a tripod, leave it. Get back to the bus. We got to get out of here because there are fumes. And hydrazine is a pretty dangerous thing that is used in rocket fuel that could do very, very significant damage to you and your lungs if the winds were to shift and move that cloud of fuel or debris or whatever over the viewing area. That would be very bad. So they basically have to drop everything and leave, and it's very, very dramatic stuff that happened, and I feel terrible for Scott because we were saying, or I was saying on Twitter that, when you're part of one of those NASA tweet-up events, those NASA socials, that mission kind of becomes your mission, even though, yeah, sure, you're not the scientists or the engineers who are really working on it. It kind of becomes your little, it's like your sports team or your mascot or something. So that's why I'm so closely following the Juno mission to Jupiter. Even the SpaceX, meeting all the SpaceX people, even though I didn't get the launch, I'm really, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh gosh, my commentary skills have failed suddenly. The missions, the SpaceX, the Falcon 9, and the Dragon missions, I've been following those a lot. It kind of becomes your mission. So when something like that happens, that's just a tragedy and a blow. And even Scott said it was a very emotional thing, let alone the adrenaline involved with that. But just crazy. I can't even imagine. So that's a terrible thing that happened. Gosh, we might. My better judgment says I shouldn't, but maybe we'll stretch this since the last episode was a 2-day episode. Let's stretch this one to a 4-day episode, make up for that lost day in the last one, and we will have to construct a bed here. So let's quickly do that. I'm starting to regret my decision already. My throat is starting to get a little bit parched. A little bit worried about that, but hopefully we'll be fine. Like I said, it's been a long time. I'm not used to recording videos and talking for such a long time. Let's boop boop. All right, we got that, and then we can make the rest with the cobblestone. We'll cobble together. Oh, careful, Wolfie. Where does that go? Okay. Gosh, didn't realize I was building next to a giant pit. A pit in the ground. Let's do this. Let's go to sleep, and I'm going to take a sip of water during this nap, and let's continue for one more day here in episode 420 of Farland's Bust. And a sip of waterness. Sip of waterness indeed. Are you down there? Of course you're down there. Why would you not be down there? So yeah, that was a terrible thing, and obviously it pushes back the progress that Orbital Sciences has made, since they're, much like SpaceX, they're a commercial resupply ship for the International Space Station, for NASA. That pushes that program back, but they have secured they are able to, even if their Antares rocket is going to be out of commission while they review what the heck happened, they do still have the Cygnus spacecraft, and they are, I believe, considering putting that on board another rocket, like a United Launch Alliance, like an Atlas or a Delta rocket, to get to the space station. So they're still going to be able to fulfill their contract. It's just that they won't be using their own rocket. They'll be paying, assuming the another company to bring their Cygnus spacecraft to the International Space Station. Even more tragically, we had a terrible accident with Spaceship Two, the Virgin Galactic, well, not commercial, the tourist space tourism, the suborbital flights. Obviously, Spaceship One was the spacecraft that it launches from, like a drop plane, I guess you can call it, and then flies up above that 70-mile, that 100-kilometer mark that says this is space, and then back down. And they're planning on having space tourism. You know, people pay for tickets to fly up there and have a few minutes of weightlessness and then come back down. There was a test flight for Spaceship Two, two test pilots on board. They were testing out a new rocket fuel design. So everybody, you know, after the accident really looked at that. But basically, a few seconds after it separated and lit its engine, it broke apart. And they're looking at the fact that the wings feathered before they were supposed to. That the wings are kind of weird design. They actually like kind of detach and swivel 90 degrees to kind of act as a parachute to slow the ship down when it re-enters, technically. It's not running at orbital speeds, but still the speeds involved need to bleed off somehow. The wings feathered before they would or should have at around the speed of sound, Mach 1, and that is when things are most turbulent, and it broke apart, and the co-pilot died, and the pilot, they haven't given many details, I'm not sure I want them, but the pilot suffered very serious injuries, and you know, I'm not sure his condition or what even happened. Like I said, at an altitude of 50,000 feet, which is very high up. It's higher than commercial airlines fly, or about 30,000 feet, and you know, at a speed of Mach 1. So very terrible thing happened there, almost within the same. It was the same week as the Cygnus Antares rocket. So everybody was like, "Oh, this is a terrible week for space flight in general and commercial space flight." But some very terrible things happened there. So yeah, I obviously would have dedicated a lot more time to talk about those things, but because they happened during the hiatus, and I honestly, I missed, you know, these I've seen, I just kind of saw these things on Twitter or like fleeting headlines and things like that, so I really haven't been able to keep up too well with the details or any new happenstances behind those. But on the flip side, we do have something still to look forward to as far as spaceflight is concerned. In less than a week, next Thursday, December 4th, we have the window opening for the test flight of the Orion capsule from NASA. I mentioned this before. There's going to be a NASA tweet up during that, and I was mightily tempted to sign up for this because it is the Orion capsule that's kind of the next generation capsule, and they are launching on top of a Delta IV Heavy, which right now is the largest and most powerful rocket in existence, currently operating, and that would be a heck of a thing to see launch from Florida. But I did not sign up. Obviously, I was moving. I didn't know what the situation was going to be. Obviously, it's a good thing because I'm just now getting set back up and trying to get back to work. It would be pretty bad if I'm like, okay, I'm going to leave again, guys. I'm gonna go to Florida to watch a rocket launch in 1 week after I actually start to get up and running again. Ooh, that's cool. But yeah, that's happening next week. That is due. It's an early morning launch for that. I think the window opens at 7:05. Careful, Wolfie. 7:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is 12:05 GMT, so just past noon GMT time for those of you who base their times off of that. So I'll be definitely watching that. That should be very interesting. There are a few people on Twitter who are followers of mine who have posted that they got either into the NASA social or they got tickets, like public tickets you can buy through the visitor center there to watch that launch. So that'll be very cool to see. Also, then following that, on December 16th, SpaceX will be launching the next Dragon capsule to the International Space Station, and it's going to be the first time they attempt to re-land that first stage, that grasshopper stage tester with the landing legs. They've, up until now, the last few flights, just been slowing down and then dropping it in the ocean. But this one, they're actually going to try to recover and land on... They've built an autonomous landing pad, a barge, basically a boat, with a big 300-foot landing pad on top of it out in the Atlantic Ocean is going to be out there, and it's going to attempt to land on that, and then they're going to recover and potentially reuse that first stage, which is an amazing thing. Never been done. Never a first stage of a spacecraft, a rocket, ever been recovered after a launch. Can you hear my voice starting to get a little bit scratchy? I've got to get back into the swing of things. Maybe I shouldn't do that voice. That's probably bad. Hey, another spawner. How about it? Have a seat, Wolfie. Or, you know, just let me plunk down my workbench there. Well, that'd be pretty crazy. We started the episode with spawner. Maybe we'll end one. Or end with one, excuse me. Words! I'm gonna need more supplies than that, that's for sure. But yeah, that is on December 16th. It's been delayed a few times as they look at different, you know, options and obviously to build this barge and whatnot. But that could be a very cool thing to watch, depending on how much they share with that. Obviously, being a private company, they're not obligated to keep you know, keep the live feed going the entire time. But certainly later on, hopefully in successful re-landing of that first stage, they have some cool onboard video of that. All right, we've clearly got a zombie spawner here. Yes, we do. It's kind of broken. All right, I'm looking for a chest. Am I not? That is my goal here. All right. Oh, hi, guy. How are you? Oh, nope, I don't think so. Huh. All right. Are there no chests? There might not be any chests because the floor has been bottomed out there. No chests? Ah, there's a chest. There's another chest. Hey. Get your iron ingots and your wheat. Oh, and a bunch of redstone and a bunch of saddles. I have really not much use for those, but I do appreciate your business, sir. You have like a little farm stand there. Thank you very much for helping me out there, giving me some wheat. But I am going to mosey on out, if you don't mind, of this thing here. Not as interesting as I'd hoped, but oh well. Let's grab Wolfie, and we will continue on for a little bit more. So yeah, we got some hopefully things will start looking up for the commercial space flight and space flight in general in the next month here. A little bit of extra news that happened while we were away. Microsoft completed officially the acquisition of Mojang. Obviously, we heard before, for $2.5 billion. Microsoft bought Mojang, the makers of this fine game called Minecraft. Of course, we're playing a very old version of Minecraft, so whatever happens there really doesn't affect us too much, at least in terms of Far Lands or Bust. But I suppose we'll... the transaction is complete. Mojang is now owned by Microsoft, and the world didn't end. They didn't take away all of our servers or take down our YouTube videos or anything, so everybody can calm down, right? A little bit of overreaction there when that news first broke, but once again, congratulations to Notch and the crew there for that that cool thing that happened for them. Obviously, the best of success for the future, whatever Notch decides to do, and hopefully good things for the future of Minecraft and the community we are here in. And also today on Black Friday, we saw our first sneak peek teaser for the next Star Wars film. So that happened. I'm not like, I haven't been following that. I'm not like huge. I like Star Wars, the original Star Wars, but you know, the fact that Disney bought them and are making new ones is really, you know, nothing I've been following too closely. But that happened as well. If you happen to see that, no, Wolfie, you're staying outside tonight. There you go. I'll give you a torch to keep watch. But yeah, that happened. In case you missed that news, you can check that out. It's all over the interwebs, and there is much discussion and hypotheses about that. Much like there was about what the heck was KurtJMac doing for a month, but now I'm back, and like I said, you know, I'll probably, obviously I have some very interesting stories to tell, so look forward to those in future episodes of Far Lands of Rust here, but also I'll keep the majority of the deets and the details. Please don't allow me to say deets ever again, but the majority of those details to the upcoming content going to the vlog channel. Kurt indeed, so check that out. And of course, as always, go to farlandsorbust.com now that we have a goal to raise $50,000 for Child's Play charity this season. Hopefully we can get that in before this March, or well, next March, March 2015, and then we can schedule another flobathon around the anniversary, the 4-year anniversary of Far Lands or Bust. It's crazy! How have I been doing this for 4 years? It's mental. Madness. Craziness. Just absolute bizarreness. And once again, I do appreciate, obviously, everybody who's watching this for sticking around, for giving me the time to move myself. We've been moving. And it's raining! It's raining, everybody. That's something that doesn't happen too often. It's raining. Welcome back, Kurt. Have some rain. Splendid weather. Splendid weather we're having here. But for giving me the time to transport myself from one location to another, and I'm hoping this is all for the best. Like I said, I'm going to take a little bit more time to properly do up the Far Lands of Rust studios here, get some proper sound deadening, make it an actual studio. We'll get back into other videos soon. It's going to be a slow, it's not going to be like, bam, suddenly all the videos are going to show up on the KurtJMac channel. It's going to be a slow increase. We're concentrating on Far Lands and Bust, and then we'll bring back, we're in the midst of Forza Horizon 2. We've got I've simply forgotten what other series we're doing, but we'll get back up and running, and I do appreciate you guys sticking around and being patient with me. Looking forward to the future. Back to the future. What? No, that doesn't make any sense, but yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'm happy to be back. Getting back into the swing of things. My name is Kurt. I will see you next time. Shh. 420.